Hey guys, it's Julia Pierce with Plum Productions, and I'm a little fired up today, and I have a story that I want to share with you. So for those of you that don't know what I do, I cover stories about government corruption, civil rights violations, and I pretty much find myself an enemy to the people that I expose. And last year, I did 2 cover stories that came out under Plum Productions. One was Murder in Muskogee. If you haven't seen that, you might want to check it out. I have those videos on my YouTube channel and on my TikTok channel. The other one is called Baker's Boondoggle, and that's what I'm here to address today. So I ended up being contacted by this gentleman called Roger Lee Baker Jr., who alleged that he was framed by the Georgia Bureau of Investigation along with judges of the Chattahoochee Judicial Circuit and the local Talbot County law enforcement. I outlined all of the evidence that definitely leads to probable cause that they did in fact do what he alleged. But we purposely left out some of the players of that story to potentially give those people time to do the right thing. And over a year later, while Mr. Baker is still trying to get access to the courthouse to litigate his civil case for all of the civil rights violations that these people have done, the Talbot County Superior Court Clerk, Penny Dillingham, has been obstructing Mr. Baker's court filings. Now, I noticed this personally when I was investigating his case and doing all of the research in his case files. And I noticed many of those filings that Mr. Baker alleged that he had put in that court filing system were not actually on the computer filing system as being received by the courthouse. There were also cases that he had before judges in the Chattahoochee Judicial Circuit that he was never able to get before because they were never given notice. We didn't really find this out until I started seeing the behavior and the evasion tactics of Miss Dillingham. So one of those cases was before Judge Arthur Smith for an appeal that he had regarding some civil rights violations. And basically, Penny kept his filings from reaching Judge Smith, and Judge Smith dismissed his case for failure to litigate. Now, there was rumor that Miss Dillingham had kept a lot of his filings in her desk and would show them to citizens, and one of those citizens was actually Mr. Baker's sister. So I had been to the courthouse twice and had gone through every filing in his case looking for all of these things that he alleged were filed. And I put a lot of those things in a specific order for the next time that I visited. And we were told at the time that we might be able to get his criminal case removed from the Talbot County Courthouse to the federal district. So I had sent her a message and basically told her, we may be transferring his case, and I understand that you guys have had a lot of stuff going on, that Mr. Baker's cases have been very confusing. However, if she could just make sure that all of his documentation was in his file folder so that everything would be transferred correctly, then that would be appreciated. And wouldn't you know that when I went to the courthouse the next time, there was a stack of motions and filings from Mr. Baker that were in the front of the folder, in front of all of the things that I had placed in a specific order for me so that I knew where to begin the next time I was there. Now, since then, Mr. Baker has allegedly had 2 court hearings scheduled to hear his civil case about the refusal of the Talbot County Courthouse or court clerk staff denying him access to the courts. to which he was never notified, and his warden never received an OTP request so that he would be transferred to the court to litigate or even be present during those hearings. And had I not been advocating for him and relaying this communication to him, he would have been none the wiser to his case hearings. So just a couple of weeks ago, Mr. Baker reached out to me again and asked if I could check with Penny and see when his hearing was now set so that he could attend. He also stated that there were no civil dockets or civil calendars on the clerk's website except for the August calendar, and asked if I would see when the other calendars would be posted and when his case would be docketed. So when I emailed Penny, I kind of got the runaround after I asked, well, when is Mr. Baker's case going to be docketed? When I repeated the same question the next day, she responded that he had been placed on the August call calendar and that he had been sent notice. Now, what I find interesting is he wasn't on the original August call calendar, but now because I'm pressing the issue, he is. And so Mr. Baker asked me to ask her when she sent the notice and when she sent the OTP request to his warden. And then all of a sudden, her assistant superior court clerk has emailed me and said that now Miss Penny has taken emergency leave and she'll return at some other time in the future. What I found really interesting about this is there were over 111 people that saw an email that I sent to 2 people. And this is typically what these government officials do so that they can include other people in on the email thread to see what's going on. But I don't think that she really banked on the fact that I would call her out for obstructing Mr. Baker's court hearings. But I gave her the benefit of the doubt and said, I'd really just like for you to let me know that you've sent those notices so that we can rule you out as being the reason why Mr. Baker isn't being notified of his court hearings, and that we can go back to his warden and ask him what's going on. But really, we already knew that his warden hadn't received those because his warden had told him over and over again, no, we are not receiving those requests. And just to make sure that I've got the receipts for that, there's an open records request with the Department of Corrections pending at this moment for all of those notices that were allegedly sent by the courthouse at Talbot County to his warden for those transfers, and any notices that would have been sent through the mail system to Mr. Baker of his court hearings. So I wrote an email to, I guess it's the administrative secretary or the paralegal to Judge Smith, and notified him of the misconduct of Miss Penny. And I cited the judicial canon that requires him to make sure that his staff, himself, and any courthouse officials are performing their duties according to the Constitution to Mr. Baker. And I further requested that he would investigate her misconduct. And I made sure to include all of the emails of her evasion and all of the people who were viewing my emails. Now, on that email to Judge Smith, I only see that one person has read it, so I hope that he has gotten it. But I'm making this video to put the courthouse clerk and any staff that are involved in obstructing Mr. Baker's access to the courts to litigate the case that he has against all of you, so that everyone knows what you're doing. And we just thought, since you have made a lot of money and filled up your joy tank on exposing him all these years, we would just return the favor. Make sure to check those stories out on my YouTube and TikTok channel.